The topic I seem to go back to an awful lot on these vlogs is video game history, and for good reason, because there's a lot of it that just hasn't there's a lot of it that has been talked about, of course, but there's still vast swathes of it that haven't really been discussed all that much. And one of those is the history of the roguelite, which is something that I, at some point, would like to make a video discussing and looking into, because it's not a very simple thing. The first game to call itself a roguelite was a game called Rogue Legacy, which is a Castlevania-style game. It's a sort of a roguelike, but it's got certain features which we now exemplify what we call a roguelite. Things like you get permanent upgrades that follow you throughout the whole game. There is an end goal, and there's certain levels of customizability. The genre doesn't necessarily have to be the top-down RPG that roguelikes often are. In fact, pretty much always are. Strictly speaking, they have to be. And so on and so forth. There are many things that make a roguelite, and Rogue Legacy defined those. Or did it? FTL. That referred to itself as a roguelike-like. So it's not a roguelite, but by our current definitions, it kind of is. And you can go even further back. I personally feel like the earliest roguelites were probably shareware games. And if not that, then very likely to be Flash games, because a lot of Flash games followed the formula of the roguelite. I consider games such as Bubble Tanks, for example. Obviously that's not very old in video game standards, but it's quite old, and it is what I would consider to be a roguelite. It's not got the permanent upgrade thing and all that, but it's roguelitey enough for me to refer to it as a roguelite. And this is the thing, it's such a... the definition of a roguelite is not exactly hard and fast. So finding the first one would be rather difficult, because you could just kind of say, well, anything's a roguelite. If you could probably define it as such and stretch the definition if you tried hard enough. But anyway, without going into so much detail that you all turn off, that is something that I would like to explore. And roguelikes in general are very interesting topics because, well, it's a very interesting topic. Because as a genre, it's been so influential. I mean, you've got millions of roguelikes now, but you've also got other games like the roguelite, and I mean, you need to only look at all the games that have got RPG mechanics and all the games that have got permadeath, and I feel like a lot of those have been influenced by the roguelike. So, yeah, all fascinating stuff, but roguelites in particular, I mean, there's the trouble, isn't it? Spot the difference, roguelite. Roguelites in particular are something that I would like to focus on for a future video, and, well, would be fascinated to hear your thoughts on it. What you consider a roguelite, and if there are any that you think would be a contender for the first one. I can think of one person who could potentially answer that question. Anyway, that's kind of all I have to say on that topic for now. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.